What's good, everybody? For those of you who don't know, my name is Jonathan Sutton. I'm currently interning at the Urban Refuge. And once a week, I will be coming to you live. I'm just playing. This definitely isn't live. It's pre-recorded. But I'll be coming to you from here, my car, my sanctuary, to share a quick word, a quick encouragement, a quick challenge, a quick guide, to kind of just help you as you get throughout your week, to connect with God, to think about your relationship with God in a different way. And so the hope is that once a week, I'll be coming to you from here, and it'll be about 3 to 5 minutes. So in an effort to keep that promise today, I'm going to dive into what God has given me for this first week. So about a month and a half ago, I'm sitting in Perkins with my uncle. We're catching up. It's been a minute. And he asked me this question. He's like, so what's been on your heart? Like, where's God leading you? What's he been showing you? And I started explaining to him all this stuff. I'm telling him about all these visions I'm getting and all of these challenges that that God is like showing me, and things I need to give to him, but also places that he's leading me, and how awesome it is, but how daunting it is, because there's just so much to it. And I remember just being like, Unc, I don't know what to do. There's so many things to do, and I'm trying to discern what is the right path, but I just feel like I gotta just go. And he sat me down and he said, nephew, I hear you, but I want to encourage you with this. And I'm paraphrasing, I can't remember exactly what he said, but he said something along the lines of, it's not the responsibility of the called to provide the provisions, the resources, etc., to fulfill the calling. It's the responsibility of him who called. And so I've been thinking about that a lot lately, because again, we always talk about trusting God, trusting God, trusting God. But I kind of want to talk about what that means, because I think there's levels to it. And just last week, I was reading in the Bible. I'm trying to go through the Bible in a year again. And keyword, y'all, try and pray for me in this, because I've never successfully done it in a year. And so far, I'm already behind. But I just finished Exodus. And in the second half of Exodus, right, chapters 25 through 30, 5 straight chapters of God just giving Moses content. He's just telling him detail after detail about how the tabernacle is supposed to be constructed, from the materials to the different ornaments, to the different decorations, to how long and how wide the table is supposed to be, and what it's supposed to be overlaid with, and all these different things, y'all. 5 straight chapters. And so while I'm reading this, and it's awesome to see that Moses is getting this revelation, it's also like kind of dry, if I could be honest. I don't why would I care that much about how stuff was built? And then there's kind of a break from chapters like 31 to 34. We have this completely different experience, right? We know about the golden calf situation and the people being reconciled back to God after they're worshiping another God and all this stuff. And that part I was digging. But then 35 and 36 go back into tabernacle building stuff. And I gotta be honest, as I read it, I kind of started speed reading. You know what you do when you're not really interested in what's in the Bible? But you gotta do it. You gotta read it. So I started speed reading a little bit, and I had to slow it down because I realized I was missing something. You see, right after God gave Moses all of this content, all of these instructions, all of these tasks on exactly how the tabernacle was supposed to be built, he doesn't just leave Moses to do it. He goes, I've already given the wisdom needed for all of these things to happen to this person. Put him in charge. He has all the wisdom, all the knowledge, all the understanding to do it. He's there in your camp. Put him in charge. And as I was reading that, right, because 35 and 36 aren't just put him in charge. It's actually a recount of everything that man did. Moses puts him in charge, and he does everything for the tabernacle exactly the way that God wants it. And as I was reading that, it's kind of miraculous that this random dude has all this wisdom and knowledge, but God kind of challenged me in that moment, and he was like, do you trust me with the how? And that's the question I have for you today is, do you trust God with the how? Right? We get situations and circumstances where we're told to just trust and believe in the promises of God, right? We've been given revelations, we've been given wisdom, we've been given understanding, we've been given jobs, we've been given children, we've been given all this stuff, and God makes us these promises in the Bible, and it can be so easy to be like, God, you promised this, now let me go do it. Let me go to work. Right? We seem to live on this God helps those who help themselves mentality, when not only is that not a verse in the Bible, so if you ever thought that was a verse in the Bible, let me clear that up right now. It's not, but it's actually the opposite of the gospel. You see, do you trust God with the how? When he makes promises, I think of Abraham and Sarah, right? Their promise that Abraham will be the father of just a multitude of people, and yet he doesn't have a kid. And so instead of believing in that promise, Sarah gives him her bondservant, and she has a kid through that. They try and fulfill the promise of God through their own means because they don't trust him with the how. Contrast that with the story of Jesus, where he's in the wilderness and he's being tempted by the devil, and Satan says, if you just bow down and worship me, then all the nations of the earth will be yours. That's the fulfillment of the promise of who the Messiah was going to be. When he comes, every knee will bow, every tongue will confess that he is Lord. And yet Jesus resists him, even though it would be a shortcut to the fulfillment of what God has, because he trusts God with the how. With where you are at right now, with where God has shown you are going, with where you hope to be, are you trusting God with the how? Or are you simply going your own way? Are you simply taking that promise, taking that vision, taking that gifting and saying, I'm going to do it the way I think God wants me to do it? Do you trust him with the how? Moses took a leap of faith. Here's this man that God just tells him he has all the knowledge and wisdom to do all these different things. I challenge you to read those 5 chapters because there's a lot of different skills needed in that. But Moses promotes this man, and in doing so, he trusts God, and God uses that man to construct the tabernacle. He provided the how. Do you trust God with the how? I'm already over 5 minutes. I apologize. My bad. It was the first one. I wanted to give y'all an introduction, and then I want to hit you with some fire. So I'm going to wrap it up with this. As you pray this week, I encourage you to pray. I'm going to give you a little prayer prompt, all right? I encourage you to pray. I believe it's Psalms 46. I don't know. Forgive me if that's wrong. But the verse is, be still and know that I am God. And I encourage you to use that as a foundation as you pray and as you seek him, whether it's for wisdom, whether it's for peace, whether it's for patience, because the foundation of trust is an understanding of who he is. And if I understand who he is, then even in moments where I don't understand the how, can't see the how, feel the pressure to figure out the how or going about the how, I can slow down. I can stop myself, I can be still, and I can remember that the one who called me is able to do infinitely more in my listening and obedience than I can do in my going and my doing and my attempt to create the how. The how is there. Our responsibility is to listen and obey, no matter how long it takes, no matter how frustrating it is, no matter how difficult it may be. Do you trust him with the how? Or do you trust your own abilities, your own knowledge, your own wisdom more? Be still and know that he is God. Listen and then obey, understanding that he will provide the how. God bless y'all this week. Love y'all, praying for y'all, and thank you for tuning in.